We're back. Had a pretty fucking shadook day. So we're gonna try and fucking, get this out of here as fast as possible. There's a bunch of shit that I wanted to fucking go over today. So let's just start with what's right in front of us.
NYPD removes students from Columbia in handcuffs.
Now,
What's
you can
this
see
about?
Police officers, some of them even in riot gear, removing some of those students in zip ties, and right outside, clashes between police and protesters turned violent with those heavy metal barriers being pushed into the air. And this is what the scene looked like inside a Butler Library a little bit earlier. Students protesting in a standoff with school public safety officers. The school saying two of those officers were hurt. Outside, a large group of students gathered earlier, attempting to force their way into the library. Remember, the school was the site of those.
Can you imagine paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to this university just to do this? That's ridiculous. And it looks like things this year are just as peaceful as they were last year.
One protester had just shouted "Free Palestine" as they had been ushered out by the police. This comes after demonstrations flooded into the schools.
These people are like retarded, dude. What the fuck? How are we gonna free Palestine? What do you think protesting over here in the United States is gonna do anything for that in Palestine? Why don't you fucking go protest in Palestine? Oh wait, you can't, because Hamas will murder all of you.
Library earlier this afternoon, Columbia University posting a series of updates and statements, first saying that for the protesters who refused to leave, who refused to provide identification and disperse, they could face possible arrest. Well, several hours later, they called in the NYPD, and that is what you see behind me. There are barricades, there are special response teams who have been going in and out of the library that university officials say have been occupied by.
These are all terrorist supporters.
So last year, when this same thing happened at this same exact campus, the university, they secretly were supporting the students. They waited a couple of weeks before even bringing in the NYPD. They spent time trying to negotiate with the protesters who took over campuses at this point. But the thing I'm having trouble understanding is, why do these protests always turn out to be less than peaceful?
Protesters and
Why
police,
does that
police
always
trying
happen?
to use these barricades you'll see behind me to push people back, and then the protesters then pushing back and forth there. Earlier today, it was campus police, security officers who have been trying to hold this building on lockdown.
From the fucking tea bag to the cup of tea, right? Israel will be free, right? Don't you guys want to kill everybody from the tea bag to the cup?
The university said that two campus officers were injured as they say some pro-Palestinian protesters had tried to force their way into the library, Gotti. This all comes amid President Trump, the Trump administration's crackdown on what they call harassment of Jewish American students.
Yeah, it is harassment.
Millions of dollars of funding.
I mean, look at that shit that recently happened in Brooklyn, where fucking the Jewish community was literally getting attacked by fucking Palestinian terrorist supporters.
Federal funding to Columbia University trying to stem
I don't know who goes to college here. How can you enroll in this place, which right now...
It's like, dude, you're barking up the wrong tree here. Instead of bitching at us to fucking free Palestine, why don't you fucking beg the terrorists to free Palestine? Why don't you guys all fucking, rally against them? And the other one's holding you hostage, and like fucking they're still holding hostages from October 7th. I mean, you want this shit to end, return the hostages, and fuck off. Like, I don't know.
Now is built out like a TSA checkpoint, and not expect that as a member of the student body,
always rules for thee, not for me with these people.
To engage in some form of radical
let's attack you and bomb you, but then when you do it to us, you're the bad guy.
Are going to march into the library and target you.
Fox News alert: Arab Spring breakers are taking over Columbia again. Over 100 college jihadis stormed into the campus library and tore the place up. After holding the library hostage, the radicals demanded Columbia...
Yeah, dude, why don't you ask Osama how his fucking jihad ended?
...let their people go. But the university had different plans. No one can leave unless you show ID.
Ooh.
The rioters weren't thrilled and tried to bum rush their way out.
ID? Is Columbia University using identification as a weapon to suppress people's feelings? That is just awful. How evil. Never mind that if you want to even get on campus, they've got ID checkpoints all over the place.
Well, this is what happens when you act like a fucking retard. Your freedoms get taken. If you don't know how to act like a fucking, decent human being and just do what you're here to do, then you can get treated like a little kid, bro. It's like, I don't know. It's like that video of that guy that fucking I talked to you guys about on stream like a couple of weeks ago, where he fucking was at Dunkin' Donuts and he was complaining because like the entire store, basically like everything from the counter to where the employees work is all covered by, you know, bulletproof glass, or, you know, unbreakable glass. And if you want to, you know, hand them cash or get you know, the food, they don't just hand it to you. They fucking, you know, put it in a metal box. You know, they open the door, put it in the metal box, and then you open the other side and you get your shit. And then the dude was complaining, he's like, oh, you know what this does to like our, he was like, we're in Chicago, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're saying about he's in Chicago and blah, blah, blah. And fucking, oh, this is hurting our mentality. You know what this does to us? It's like, bro, you know what you guys do to the store owner when like 50 of you guys bum rush your store and rob him like 30 times a day? Same thing with bodegas, grocery stores, CVS, everything, and then they have to shut down. So it's like, don't talk about fucking our mental fucking blah, 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 when you're the one fucking causing this to begin with, dude. And I'm not saying fucking that guy that was recording the video is to blame. I'm saying like the community. Like, dude, you're just out here fucking robbing and shit, doing all these crimes, and then we're surprised when now you know, now there's consequences to those actions. Did you just think that these companies had unlimited resources to allow you to keep fucking stealing, dude? Like, and nothing was gonna happen? Nobody was gonna get affected? Like, are you stupid? Like, it's like, dude, you don't want shit like this to happen? And, like, look at it. All these motherfuckers wearing fucking hijabs, dude. And I guarantee you half of these people aren't even fucking Muslim. They're just terror supporters.
Wow. It says they're trying to escape their own insurrection.
Yeah, they said, let us go. Dude, why the fuck did you come here to begin with, you dumbass? Nobody told you to do this bullshit.
Well, look at this. Look at the
What you're doing?
staff. You can tell they work there.
What you are doing is bad, but I am coming here and I'm trying to destabilize your economy in your country and get everybody to hate America, and I want to the death of America. But what you are doing is bad. Like, you
don't have a
fucking
mask.
see how stupid you sound. These fucking, you're gonna hurt people. No, you're gonna hurt people. What the fuck are you doing here, bro? Why don't you go back to your dorm and settle
This is
down?
so crazy. And this costs $93,000 a year. I don't know if these protesters are even going to make this much money once they
not.
graduate.
They're
If
fucking
they
broke
graduate.
idiots. They're broke liberals. Look at Intifada rebel. You don't know what the fuck they're saying, dude. They're just terrorists. They're literally just outright supporting terrorists, and then they're confused why they're locked in here like a bunch of idiots, dude. Look at them. Why do you think none of them want to show their faces? Because they know that they're supporting terrorism right now, and if they're fucking outed for being a terrorist, there will be consequences. Like, look at fucking Hamas Piker. Now he's fucking scared of going to jail because when Fox covered him, he realized, you know, damn, dude, I'm sitting here basically condoning the downfall. I'm literally sitting here spreading propaganda for the downfall of the country that I'm literally living in and wishing death upon them and blah, blah, blah. And basically outing myself as a terrorist supporter that supports, you know, terrorism against this country. Like, what? Are you a fucking idiot? Do you just think that nothing's
This is
going to happen?
frightening. And if you're going to chant this, that's not peace. That's
Yeah.
intimidation.
Yeah. Like, they be saying free Palestine from what? You guys are occupying yourselves. Like, what are you trying to free yourself from yourself? Are you fucking stupid? Like, you guys are the ones that started this. You guys are the ones that have the power to end it. You guys are the ones that are currently holding yourself hostage. Like, you don't see Israel holding fucking no hostages. This is literally just you guys. You guys are the ones holding hostages, so why don't you stop being cowards and just return them?
The students said that the protesters demanded the Ivy League school divest from Israel. The protesters reportedly rallying in support of Mahmoud Khalil, one of the accused ringleaders of the pro-Palestinian protests
That's the guy who's
in
being
Colombia.
deported.
Well, more than 80 people
Get that
were
terrorist
arrested.
outta
All
here.
were students, according to
Get
the
these terrorist supporters,
NYPD.
too.
And ICE is monitoring the situation. If arrests were made, the suspects were fingerprinted to determine if they were citizens or not. Secretary of State Marco Rubio warns the
That's
State
just gonna make
Department is
people mad.
reviewing the visa status of the suspects, saying, quote, pro-Hamas thugs are no longer welcome in our great nation.
Good. Get these fuckers the fuck out. I'm sick of having to share space with people who if they even had a second of our power and we're in control, they would kill us all and try to take over. Like, fuck that. Why the fuck are we, like, bro, if you hate us so bad, get the fuck out and go be with your own kind. Go be with other people that hate us equally. Like, if you fucking hate us this bad and you want to intifada revolution, why don't you go fucking join them? Why don't you go to Hamas, go to the front door, and ask them to join? Let's see if Hamas will take the lot of you. Hamas will probably fucking start killing you guys as you start showing up to their fucking doorsteps. Like, I guarantee you half of these fuckers are, like, you know, gay or queer or some bullshit. Like, dude, you know what would happen to you if you try going to Hamas? They would just kill you on the spot. Like, look at what's happening in fucking Pakistan and like the fucking in like China and shit, dude. Like, if they'll literally just take your pants down and ask you if you're circumcised or not, and depending on what you say, they'll just blast you right in the face, right in front of your girl.
Okay, we've got to talk about that because that's one of the things that these protesters are all upset about. But why should our country pay for people to go to a university and then intimidate others when they're there?
Yeah,
That's like the opposite of America. Even if you agree with this fully, this thing isn't even happening in America. And the people
like,
you're
what the fuck does that have to do with
protesting
us?
against and intimidating, those are not combatants on a battlefield 100 yards from where you are. No, you guys are all students at the exact same school. It's
like, what are you
very
protesting,
bizarre
bro?
behavior to
You have
me.
nothing to do
I
with that.
understand people want to
Fucking,
get worked up. They want to support something. They feel very passionate about it. But just a couple of months ago, these
Again, you want to support this so bad, go over there and go help Hamas. Like, what the fuck? Like, dude, Hassan, you're such a fucking Hamas supporter. You know, you be comparing Straw Hat Luffy to fucking Hamas and saying that the things that they do is shit that Luffy would do. Why don't you go over there, dude? Why don't you go over there and join them? Sure, they'll take you in. How much fucking propaganda you're spreading for them?
These people were eating lunch at a cafeteria, living down the hall from each other in dorms, and now they're enemies. But now they're going to bring in the deputy ICE director who does not play games. Let's see what they're going to do about deporting people.
That report from Chandler, obviously ICE is monitoring this situation, and it appears that there could be some students with foreign visas in this group. What might we see happen?
No. Not could be. There are. Like, I guarantee you 50 to at least 75% of them are.
Well, look, ICE every day works with the men and women at the local level to make sure that we're keeping our communities safe. This is just one prime example. When you see protesters go into these campuses, when we're working with the visa holders as well as...
Like, look at all these people, dude. Dude, these are the people. Look at all these kids, dude. Just trying to get their work done, bro. Like, can you imagine your parents fucking having to spend their hard-earned money that they had to, like, fucking work their asses off, and you did probably too. You know, you have to have a fucking part-time job just to pay off some of this shit. And then now you can't even study and fucking actually go to class because you have these fucking retards that spend too much time online and think that they know everything. You know, and they just start doing this shit. And you have people like my buddy Nick that be saying, oh, it's peaceful protesting. Dude, chanting fucking intifada revolution, which is basically just inciting terrorism, is not peaceful revolution. It's not peaceful protesting, dude. Like, you actively chanting for the death of things is not peaceful. What are you talking about?
When we're
you doing this and preventing, like, all your other fellow classmates that literally have nothing to do with this and don't want anything to do with this from, you know, doing their shit, that is not peaceful, dude. Like, you stopping everybody's lives just for your fucking bullshit that has nothing to do with anything over here is fucking stupid.
Working with the visa holders as well as with the State Department, we want to make sure that everything is being done correctly, and as the State Department continues to monitor these issues, we'll stand beside them as these visas are revoked, and we watch these students leave the United States because it is a privilege to be able to go to school here. It's not a right for these foreign students to be here.
Hey, Madison.
You know, and that's the other thing. If you go to another country, like my wife is Japanese, if I go to Japan, I would never go there.
Fuck yeah, Jordan knows what's up, dude.
In the first place, if I had a problem with that country, no, and even if I did, which I don't, I certainly wouldn't go and stir up societal unrest.
Thank you. Because it's common sense. Why the fuck, like, bro, Do you think that you causing a ruckus over here and harassing people over here and just making yourself look like a complete retard, you know, disrupting the peace, hurting other people over here, you think any of that is going to do anything for people in Palestine or for their cause? It's literally not going to affect them or do anything one bit. All you're doing is just being a complete idiot. Like, if you want to support so much, why don't you either donate money or fucking go over there? Like look at Greta Thunberg, the little girl who was crying about global warming and shit. Like, yeah, she was crying and stuff, but you know, she has the right, dude. She's earned the right. She has the right to do that. And she has the right to speak about Palestine because she went there. She's over there right now, I think. You know? Like, I don't really give two shits about that shit, so I'm not gonna, you know? But it's like, I'm also not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, Intifada revolution, when I'm fucking, you know, just gonna come back home and get on my PC and then forget about it. Like, what? Like, if you care so much about this, instead of making yourself look like a retard over here, which is not gonna do absolutely anything besides just disturb the peace, why don't you fucking take a plane ticket and just go over there? Go to Palestine. See how that works for you. Why don't you try to go to Japan or Colombia or anywhere else and try to, you know, start a mass protest about Intifada revolution in Palestine? Like, see how that goes for you. Like, say, you can't even say that back to me without making it not sound stupid. You're gonna go to another country that has nothing to do with fucking the shit that's going on in another country, and you're gonna start protesting and rioting. For what? Like, what are we gonna do? What do you expect us to do? Do you just expect us to carpet bomb fucking Israel for you? Like, no, dude. What the fuck?
Against it, that would.
If that were the case, we would have already carpet bombed fucking Palestine, because you guys were the ones that fucking started this. You fucking started October 7th. You started a whole war you couldn't finish, and your idea was to just use human hostages in an effort to, you know, diminish morale for the whole world, to be like, oh look, Israel is fucking killing innocents, even though you're using them as human shields to try to play some psychological warfare, so then that way we can't shoot you back. Like, no, dude. Using human shield is not gonna stop anything. You're just prolonging the inevitable. Like, we're still gonna get you, bro. Like, just because you I can't believe, like, this is just something that people can't see through, dude. Like, why do you think Hamas actively uses civilian locations as their bases? Because they know that it's hard for a fucking actual, you know, army government to attack those places, because they'll just be seen as like, oh, you're a baby killer, you're this, you're that. But like, dude, like, what else are you supposed to do? You're not gonna continue sending, like, you know, human resource, like, you're not gonna continue putting your soldiers at risk to go in there and try to save these people when they don't even want to save themselves. Like, what?
It just wouldn't compute.
We're not gonna stop! No matter what, we're not gonna stop!
She sounds tough.
Pro-Hamas protesters are learning...
I guarantee you she won't 100% stop when she's in jail.
...that they can't take over college campuses in the age of Trump and at least get away with it. Columbia University is forced now to call in the NYPD.
Yeah, you know they didn't want to do it.
Around 100 or so of these pro-Hamas freaks occupied Butler Library.
Yeah, pro-Hamas freaks.
Fox News not mincing words.
Declared the library.
Nah, it's true. They're pro-Hamas freaks. Like, they're just like fucking pro-terrorism freaks. Like, what the fuck are you supporting terrorism so bad, dude? Like, if you want to fucking support, like I said, why don't you go over there and join them, dude? And don't. Like, it's like, you can't cut your cake and eat it too. You can't be supporting terrorism while also living comfortably over here in peace. Like, what? Like, you want to spout that nonsense? Expect to be arrested. Like, what? Like, if you support them so bad, why don't you go over there and join them, you dumbass?
Library, a quote, liberate.
But you can't, and you won't, because you know that they'll just fucking either kill you or R-word you over there. Like, dude.
Zone, yeah, liberated from studying. So again, you're at Columbia, one of the premier institutions supposedly for learning in the United States. And this is what you have to deal with, studying for that applied mathematics final exam. Great. Here to discuss is Victor Davis Hanson, senior fellow at the Hoover Institution. Victor, the video is quite something. This was after $400 million of federal aid for new research grants was paused by the Trump administration, Columbia scrambling to try to make...
Like, what the... Like, Sleepy Joe, dude, you're not slick, dude. Now I see why you was trying to do, like, fucking student loan forgiveness, so he could just allow all these people to come here, basically do this shit for free, and then just get away with it. No, dude. You're not gonna come over here, try to go to college for free, you know, when the rest of us have to fucking pay like millions, like basically hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. Well, you get to just come over here, basically, you know, use that opportunity that other people have to work and pay for. You get it for free, and then, you know, you don't even utilize it. You just use that as like a vehicle, so that way you could come over here and fucking, you know, like a Trojan horse. You're just using that free ticket, which other people have to pay and earn their way, like literally both, pay and earn their way there. While you just literally came here because you're fucking DEI, and you fucking came over here with the fucking visa, and you're exploiting that shit, and you're using it as a Trojan horse so you can come over here and try to like disrupt our, you know, our society, our economy and everything, and you're trying to incite the downfall. Like, bro, what the fuck?
Make nice.
Yeah, you're not going to get any research done here.
People had, but I guess they didn't get the memo on no masks going forward. It looks like a lot of them had masks.
No.
Bro.
I don't think they could stop it if they wanted to, Laura, and they don't want to. I think we know it's a tired, weary, predictable script.
Yeah.
They break all of the rules that they said they wouldn't. They're violent. They disrupt classes. Yeah. They shout anti-Semitic, pro-terrorist things.
Yep.
And then we get a weak-kneed administrator, an assistant dean, associate provost comes out and says, "This is intolerable. We don't accept this."
Oh yeah, now they don't accept it. Now
because they have no deterrence. The students know it. Now, why is that? I think it's because 75% of the faculty, the administrators, and the students really do agree with what they're doing.
That's the key takeaway from all of this, is that if the school's administrators and teachers support this...
That's exactly what I'd be saying, dude. If you really believe in what you're doing, get a fucking plane ticket. Like, since you have so much money, you know, that you don't need to have a job. You apparently don't need a job, so you have enough time and money to sit here and fucking be a nuisance to everybody else. Why don't you go be a nuisance in Palestine? See how that works out to you, dude. Why don't you try to go protest in Palestine, you know, where it matters? Why don't you go to Israel and try to protest that shit, you know, where it matters? But you won't, because you guys are a bunch of fucking pussy terrorist supporters, dude.
And are embedding this into their students, and then the students act it out. How could the university have a problem with that? The students are in class, they're getting this material, they're getting these viewpoints from their teachers, these radical viewpoints, and they're going forward with those viewpoints, doing this. How could the teachers not be proud? They're doing exactly
all these teachers
what the
should be fired as well.
wish they were doing. And in fact, at some schools, like at the new school, you had teachers camping out with students in tents in a lobby. So in some places, the teachers are part of this.
I don't know, maybe not the violent act themselves, but the ideology, yes. And I don't think they want, this is terrible because they're in this fight with the Trump administration, and it's kind of like a rock, you pull it over, and underneath it, nobody knew what was going on. And they've got $30 to $40 billion the last 30 years they've taken from communist China and Middle East dictatorships they haven't reported. They have racially separated dorms, graduations, the admissions that they're using are violating the recent 2022 Supreme Court ruling.
You know, people keep talking about how all politicians are controlled by money. Well, if you've got schools that are taking mass grants from foreign governments that might not necessarily be friendly to America, and they're teaching the next generation of Americans every 4 years, a new American has gone through 4 years of education funded by grants from America's enemies, you got to wonder, what effect is that having on people? Are we looking at it right now?
Because they've gouging the federal government at 40 to 50% surcharges on grants from HHS or Department of Energy.
No, it's a scam.
And I could go on, and that's all. Yeah, they're all going to come out. They're going to lose this, and then these type of performance art spectacles. It explains why only 36% of the general population has confidence in higher education. And they're in an echo chamber. They're oblivious to all
no
this.
shit.
This is why so many people are
No
just...
fucking
Yeah, how could
shit.
you hire somebody that said they went to Columbia now and not think this was coming to your business? Because think about
why would
it,
I? Why
you're
would any?
actually looking...
These kids don't even know what the fuck they just did, dude. Like, you fucking doing this shit to your own university, you just literally, essentially, just threw away all the fucking money that you just spent. You basically lit it all on fire, and for nothing, because these terrorists don't give a fuck about you, dude. Once this is all over, and this trend, you know, this current trend where it's cool to be a terrorist supporter and hate Jews, when this is all over, dude, which it will be very soon, when this is all over, and you guys are, you know, the dust settles, you guys are, don't even try to sue, dude. Don't even try to do nothing, because this was of your own volition, your own doing. Like, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen when you fucking when you know the media literally is always actively covering your guys' stupid idiot mistakes? Like, did you just think the whole world wasn't gonna see, you know, Columbia students, you know, fucking Intifada revolution? Like, do you think a job employer is gonna want to see that shit? Oh, was this you, dude? You were Columbia University a fucking student? You were out here protesting and being a nuisance against the school? I probably don't want you to be a nuisance and start, you know, fucking trying to protest or trying to incite unions or some shit in my job. So why the fuck would I want to hire you?
At a
Like,
potential.
you already set the precedent that you were a problematic asshole, and you just expect the whole entire world to accommodize you and your point of view. And if they don't agree with you, you're all of a sudden like the problem and, you know, a Nazi and this and that. Like, why would any employer want to hire somebody like that? Somebody that's just gonna like literally be a problem. Because that's what you just basically showed the entire world, that anybody who goes to Columbia is just a problem. That you just cause problems.
Ticking time bomb. If you bring somebody into your workforce,
And you also set the precedent that nobody that went there actually even learned anything. Like, it was just a Trojan horse to, you know, come here and try to spread terrorist propaganda. There was actually no learning. It was just terrorist propaganda spreading.
associate with all of your other employees and just either turn them against each other or get everybody embittered against one another or keep bringing politics into a corporate
Like, I guarantee you, none of these people have anything in those backpacks that are for school. I bet you all this is either like food or some bullshit that's going to allow them to protest.
environment where nobody really wants to feel uncomfortable. They just want to show up and go to work. But what do you think about this? Are these protests just going to get worse as the weather warms up? Have we just seen the beginning of another summer of...
Oh yeah, it's gonna get a little bit worse before it gets better. Because I feel like that's the reason why we haven't seen as much protest. Because it's been cold outside. So, you know, like I said, all these people here are fucking pussies. So that's why you haven't been seeing any of them protest outside right now in the cold. Like, it's just been very small mobs. Because most of them are fucking cowards and they don't actually believe what they say. That's why you don't see any of them fucking going actually to Palestine and doing this shit. You know? But yeah, that's enough talking about this fucking bullshit. These fucking Hamas supporters. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.